We'll call our January the 12th, 2021 meeting to order, and we'll ask everyone to please stand, get Councilman Woods, if he would, to give our invocation.
Oh, Heavenly Father, once again, Lord, that we are gathered here together. Father, we first and foremost we give you thanks. Father, we come into a new decade, a new year. For all of us, Lord, we ask that you continue, Lord, to watch over us, Lord, and watch our county. And continue, Lord, to keep our hand in your hand, Lord, as we make decisions that would make this county a better place to work, live, and pray. Father, these are all blessed in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. There's Ms. Plato, and so yeah, she's give her a minute to sit down and.
Right on time.
First, we'd like to say Happy New Year to everybody, and so like I said, we see what 2021 has in store for us, and so. I thank y'all for the prayers and for my absence and last month with the virus, and so still continue to covet your prayers, and there's a lot of sickness around us. So we, like I said, but we do thank you, and thank you, Ms. Plato, for filling in then. So up first we have installation of council members. Dr. Damian Johnson is he's on Zoom, but he is in self-quarantining, so he can't be sworn in yet. So. But I think we do have, Mr. Strowman is going to be sworn in, and Mr. Midgley, and Mr. Odom. So all those we could, I don't know how we'll do it.
Probably try to go towards Mr. Odom since he's a little less mobile than everybody.
Okay, we'll try to get.
And Mr. Judge McQueen's going to do the swearing in.
All right, Judge McQueen. Yeah, we'll get everybody down that way. Good evening. A prayer group.
Touch and agree. I do solemnly swear and affirm that I am duly qualified according to the Constitution of this state to exercise the duties of the office of county council, and that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge
duties thereof, and preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of this state and of the United States. So help me God. All right, please join me in giving this council a hand for the will.
Thank you, Judge McQueen, and to the members of council that's newly elected and the incumbents that's still here with us. Like I said, we look forward to continue to move forward in 2021. Up next, we have approval of agenda items. We have one change we need to make to 7D. It says change item 7D, resolution 012101, a resolution to restrict additional fund balance for non-reoccurring expense. We need to make that change to our budget. To our agenda. It'll be 7D. Is where it's got consideration of budget amendment request. That's just, it just says a resolution to restrict additional fund balance for non-reoccurring expense. That's what it needs to say. So do we have a motion to?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. You think we're good with that, or do we need to vote on it? That was the change.
First vote was the change,
Okay.
second vote was
That was the change. Now we need to vote to approve the agenda with the addition.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the agenda with the addition 7D.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you. Up next, election of officers. We always do this every year at the beginning of new calendar year. So I guess would the administrator handle that, attorney, or do we just keep on going? Which would be the
I guess
best?
you could just see what happens, and if we need to step in and take votes or whatever, we can.
Okay. Up first, we always go chairman and vice chairman, correct? All right. Up first, we have election of officers. We'll be voting on the chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that Mr. Jason Steen remain as chairman for 2021.
Second.
All right. Any more? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. It's unanimous. 2020 was a challenging year. Like I said, I thank y'all for the support then, and we're going to look forward to support now. Like I said, it was a challenging year, and it seemed like every time you turn around, we've always worked as a good group, no matter who was in the chairman position. And so I look forward to being able to get back together and just talk like we've always have. And so hopefully we can continue moving forward that. But I thank you for for your support, and I hope to do the best job I can. And so it's 2021, and hopefully we won't have as many hurdles to jump over as we did this year. Up next is vice chairman.
I'd like to nominate Ms. Corey Plato as vice chair. Second.
All right. Any more? I have a motion and a second for Ms. Plato. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you. It's unanimous. So we thank y'all, and we'll continue to move forward in 2021. Up next, presentation, an audit report ending June 30th, 2020, Shaheen Hancock and Godwin LLP. Who's going to?
They're going to come up and present.
All right.
You have copies in front of you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, County Council. Thank you for having us here tonight. You've got the audit report and a summary in front of you. I'm going to go over the summary instead of flipping through an 84-page financial statement report. I got 3 highlight areas I'll go over. The main areas will focus on the general fund, but item number 1 is an outline of the audited financial statements. you'll see pages 1 through 3 is our audit report that we provide on the financial statements. The county received an unmodified opinion. That is the highest level of opinion that we can give on a set of financial statements. Pages 4 through 11 is the MD&A. Pages 12 through 23 are the basic financial statements of the county. Pages 24 through 56 is the notes to support those financial statements. Pages 57 through 82 is supplemental information that is required, and some just supplemental information disclosures. And then pages 80 through and 84 is the compliance section of the financial statements. Number 2 is the financial position, and we're going to focus on the general fund for the county. The total assets for the county was $9.28 million as of June 30, 2020. The total liabilities were just over $3 million for the county. And again, the information that I provided you here can be found on page 14, more detailed information that makes up the assets and the liabilities of the county. Number 3, analysis of activity. The total operating revenues for the county as of June 30, 2020 were just over $13 million. You had a small gain of sale of capital assets, $8,862. And you had some transfers in from other funds of $150,000, which brought total revenues to just $13,196,140. If you'll scratch that on your summary sheet, that number there is that you have currently is incorrect. It should be $13,196,140. That was total revenues for the general fund. Expenditures, total operating expenditures for the general fund. This number also, it should be $12,371,384. And you had some transfers out of $248,859. That was an excess of revenues over expenditures of $575,897 as of June 30, 2020. More detailed revenues versus expenditures can be found from page 57 through 63 in your financial statements. That's going to give you budget to actuals for the year as of June 30, 2020. We try to recommend, it's a recommendation for the counties to maintain a 4 to 6 month reserve fund balance for the county. And with this excess of revenue over expenditures plus what you've had, it's the county's sitting at right at 5 months reserve for the county. So they're right where they need to be as far as of June 30, 2020. So the county's in good financial position. Again, there's a more summarized revenue and expenditures on page 16 of the basic financial statements that you have provided. But as you all know, 2020 it's been a crazy year, and we wouldn't have been able to do this audit without the staff providing a safe working environment for our staff. We tried to limit our contact with the staff of the county as much as possible to do our part, and they did their part, and we can't thank them enough for helping us get this audit done timely. It's been hard on everybody, and we're praying for everybody, the safety for everyone involved, and we really thank them for helping us get this audit done. And we really enjoy working with the county, and we hope to continue in the future. But if y'all have any questions, that's all I have concerning the audit. So if there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions? Any questions? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. Up next, approval of minutes from December 8, 2020, regular council meeting minutes.
I move we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. I'll abstain, sir. All right, thank you. Old business, we had none. New business, emergency ordinance number 805, an emergency ordinance to declare a state of emergency in Marlboro County and other matters related thereto. Mr. Mullen?
Mr. Chairman, this is the same ordinance I think you've renewed 3 times before. So we're just asking you, it runs out in around 3 days or something like that. So we're asking you to renew it. It gives us a little bit of the ability to adapt in the COVID environment, but we haven't really had to use it so far. It's just a good thing to have in place.
We have a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you. Up next, ordinance 806, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of tax agreement between Marlboro County and Shorthorn Holdings LLC, affecting of itself one or more affiliates, other project sponsors, with respect to the construction of certain facilities at the location of the county and other related matters thereto. First reading, title only. Mr. Mullen.
Mr. Chairman, this is a good item, good news. It's an economic development project. It's something that's been kind of in the background and has moved to the foreground. It's not a huge employer, but it will represent some capital investment that can be taxed. So this is by title only while we work out the details, but we did want to get it moving forward on your calendar. So we'd ask that you approve it in title only, and we'll provide you with the details over the next month as those things are finalized, or get to a point you can see what, where direction you want to go and questions. My recommendations are ask questions at that time.
All right. So we have a motion for 806. We have a motion. We have a second. We have a second. Second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you. Up next is a set of audit report ending fiscal year June 30th, 2020. Mr. Mullen, would you like to say anything else on?
Yes, sir. This is also good news. Anytime that we don't run a deficit is good news. And then the next 2 items, the one we're talking about now and the next item, are sort of tied together. We had a good audit. There were no problems identified or any issues there. We did have some more revenue than we anticipated, and we've identified that as from the state. It's kind of hard to explain, and because it's kind of hard to explain, we're a little timid to count on it. We're a little timid to say, hey, now we can spend it, or we can cut taxes or whatever next year. So what just to flow right into the next item, what staff is requesting is a resolution to set aside those additional funds so that they can only be used for non-recurring expenses. In other words, things that won't keep eating down the road. It would be foolish to go and spend this money and count on it when we don't know that it's a sure thing. So that's what we'll be asking. There's a resolution in front of you. I think you have a copy. It's basically saying that you're to accept this in a vote, and then afterwards, that these revenue sources are such that we don't want to count on them, and we want to ask that we restrict them for capital, meaning repair of a building or something that's a one-time cost. And then, of course, at budget time, you all would we would consider that again. And hopefully, what will happen is next year or between now and budget time, we determine that something good has happened, and it gives you the ability to cut costs or cut taxes or something to that effect. So what the first item, C, is to ask for a vote to accept the audit report as it was presented, and then the second is to approve, to ask you to approve the resolution about restricting the fund balance.
All right, we'll handle C first.
I move we accept the audit report as written.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, unanimous. Thank you. The next is consideration of budget amendment request. Says a resolution restrict additional fund balance for or use of non-recurrent or capital expense only. And so and we heard Mr. Mullen's recommendation on that.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. It's unanimous. Hopefully, that is good news, but hopefully we can find out where and whether or not, if we can lower taxes or, whatever, it would be good. So hopefully that's a good thing. But so Next is consideration of approval of workforce development area designation petition, consortium agreement, and designation of a grant recipient, agent relating to the implementation of a Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. Mr. Mullen, you got any?
Yeah, this is something that the PD Council of Governments handles every year, but they require the member counties, and we're a member of the PD COG, to bless it. And so what they're asking is that you bless it. And staff's reviewed it. It's the same thing we do every year. It's a good program. Certainly want to keep it going.
We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you. It's unanimous. Appointments to boards and commissions. As you know, I mean, for incumbents, I mean, and for others, it's a good time to look at your appointments. So, you know, a lot of times for the incumbents, whenever the new time rolls around, it's you have to reappoint or appoint during that time, and so this is a good time to really look at them and see if it's gonna if those people really fit the position that we have them in, and so we'll look at those, and like I said, there are some that can be reappointed. We did have a couple from the boards, certain boards from, it was the airport board, Mr. Frank Shutt, Don Evans, and Charles Midgley Sr., and then the Historic Preservation Commission, Ed McGraw, Penny Kennedy, John I. Rogers, District 3, and Dan McNeil is the chairman. And so those were ones. Then a couple of them you want to make sure that you got the people like the airport that deals with airplanes and can help, and then the other ones has a position in that too. So we need to look at those, and if you want to move on those now, or we can look at it, make sure we get all of them done in the February meeting.
If you're comfortable with doing these sort of reappointments, it'd be nice to kind of keep it going, because as you know, we'll end up with a bunch of vacancies. You kind of got to keep working at it.
These here have been on there, and I think they come from the recommendation from the actual commission as the ones that we had talked about. So
Do they have to be separate? Do we have to vote them separately?
no, you can lump them together.
I move that we accept those that we've already got in place.
We have a motion and a second. Was there any more that needed to be? Well, all in favor, raise your right hand. Was there any more that anybody wanted to appoint at this time also?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I've got an opening on the planning commission that's been, I guess, open for a while, and I'd like to appoint William B. Shelley to the planning commission. I think that might be the only opening.
That was planning. And I think Ms. Bundy has a form that they could fill out also. Yeah, so Ms. Bundy has a form that we'll make sure we get to them to make sure that they're, so that's William Shelley for planning. Anything else tonight?
I know that we had the library board letter, and you were going to ask the administration committee meet with them to
Yes.
discuss that.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we'll have some. Like I said, and we'll ask that there's some committees that come forth and bringing stuff forth, and so we'll have the executive committee meet with them. We're gonna reinstate, hopefully, if we can, some other committees like we had at one time, the recreation committee that was part of 2 or 3 of us from this body, public service, public safety. I mean, with everything going on, hopefully we can re-ramp that up. I know Dr. Johnson, Mr. Woods, I mean, I know they're very active in recreation, and so they're wanting to see some things move forward, and other people's got different things that they want to see moving forward. Library, I mean, they've done a good job throughout the pandemic to help us, so we'll be looking at these real hard. We always kind of throw them on the back burner, but we want to make sure we keep these up, and next month we'll try to really bring them and notify everybody so you can look through all of them. We can make sure we reappoint everybody during that time. So we do have a motion for Mr. William Shelley for planning and zoning anymore. Not, do we have a second for that one? Have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you. So let's make sure, we always say this a lot, look at your, they did give us a list, so make sure you look at it, see who's capable of doing jobs and wants to continue to do those jobs and not just fill a spot, and we'll book a lot of these in for next month. Up next, the compensation study update for staff.
Mr. Chairman, there's some information in front of you, I think it has yellow on it, but I'll speak from that. We've been, every year, we've presented budgets, and council has been kind enough to approve budgets that allow for a cost of living increase for our employees, and also for some adjustments based on job responsibilities or competitive situations, where, we've looked at what the salaries are for counties our size in the state. Every year, we get a publication from the Association of Counties that shows what positions make across the state. And they lump those into population groups. So what we've done in the past is we've looked to see where we can what a position, like a tax clerk position, makes in those other counties. And we have made sure that no one is making less than the minimum we see in that group. That's not much to brag about, but it's at least gotten most folks equaled out, and we're at least where the counties our size are. So we've done that, and we've done that every year since I've been here. What we found out, though, is that we're not competing with McCormick County or Abbeville County. We're competing with Darlington and Florence and Richmond County, North Carolina, and Scotland County, and those sort of places. So we've Dar Sumter, our HR director, has done a lot of work to gather the amounts for those counties for the jobs that we can find a similar job. Now, don't get me wrong, there's jobs that we have that we can't match up. That's always going to happen. But for the ones we can, we've taken those and we've created information there. And so what we want to do within the budget that you've already approved is to try to take folks to more of a number based on what's around us instead of some population group that makes no sense. Because those are the folks that we are competing with. It's interesting that we've just done W-2 forms for employees, and Wes and Doris, I forgot to bring my copy with it, but there's a large percentage of, we did all these W-2s, 200 and some odd, and then there's a bunch of folks in there that don't work here anymore because we're just rolling people through. And we have trouble hiring people, and we're having trouble keeping people that want to stay. So what you see here is that we have used the budget amount that you put in there to either give folks that 2% increase, or if there's clearly a deficit in what they make compared to what the competition is paying, that we make that adjustment. And you can see on this sheet that in the far right-hand column that we're able to do that. I know this is kind of complicated, but in the far right-hand column, we're able to do that. We budgeted $130,000, and what we're proposing comes to $129,000, so it's pretty close. And so the other component of this is the need to adjust some positions even higher so that we can attract and recruit and retain people. And those positions are related to law enforcement, sheriff's office, the detention center, 911. There's a need, staff feels there's a need, and the sheriff feels there's a need. And I'm sure some of you all would agree, to be able to pay our people a fair wage and to be able to attract people here so that we can keep law enforcement here in the county. We always, have vacancies and trying to attract people, and that's become difficult. That's not included in this. In discussions with the Finance and Administration Committee, there, I believe, the desire to have a meet with the sheriff, meet with staff to understand this, because that's going to be a bigger bite. That's going to require you to spend some of that money that we think we may be gaining. It's a significant amount. It would mean another $120,000 to do what we think needs to be done there. The other component of that that's been discussed a lot is the overtime situation. Our law enforcement folks are paid on a fluctuating overtime, which means the more you work, the less you get paid. Sounds kind of backwards, but it is something that other counties have done as well. Now, That's got to be worked through as well, because if we just all of a sudden said, change that to time and a half, based on the hours that were worked in the last 12 months, that would be $157,000 more money. So if you did it just as we have it here, you're talking about, $250,000 change. It may be warranted. It may mean belt tightening. It may mean cuts in another area to try to get this and take care of our people. But, Mr. Chairman, as your committee requested, we've done a lot of work there, and we're ready to meet with you all and answer questions and take direction from you all as to where we are, and of course with the sheriff involvement as well. But for tonight, there's no requirement. We don't need to request you to do anything, because we budgeted for what we're going to do, with the exception of significant changes for law enforcement, which will require that. And then we can work that up after we all meet and bring it back to you.
Any questions or comments about the compensation study? None. So we thank you, like I said, and sometimes it seems like we don't get anywhere whenever we try to do something, but I mean, council requested it for a while, a couple months, 3 months ago, and it takes time to put all these numbers together, but we have something in front of us to at least grow on and build on, and I think even the sheriff met with the sheriff, seems like it may have been 5 or 6 months ago. It may not have been but 3, but anytime somebody brings something, we try to make sure we do. I mean, and that's for all council. I mean, we've all been supportive of this, so we thank you for that update. Up next, finance report. He's going to tell us what we can spend and can't spend. All right.
Mr. Chairman, council members, Mr. Munderland, you have a report before you on general fund revenues for the 6 months ending December 31, 2020, which totaled $3,184,733. The expenditures through that same date totaled $5,841,607 of a $12,038,883 budget, or 48.52% of budget year to date. For that same date, December 31, the county has $2,421,529 in 4 operating accounts. This concludes my report. I don't know if there's any questions. I'd be glad to address those.
Any questions for Mr. Clark? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, administrator's report, Mr. Marlboro.
Mr. Chairman, as we always do, we recognize employees with service anniversaries more than 5 years. We have Joanna Jacobs with 7 years, so only one person this year with more than 5. Tomorrow, the county team working at the community kitchen is going to be led by Sheriff Lemon, and they're going to have chili dogs and chips. So Sheriff Lemon, if you need some help, we might can recruit a few people, but they usually take care of it and do a good job with it. With regards to economic development, there are 2 items. One is that we've moved forward with, staff has moved forward with the council's direction through strategic initiatives and authorizing staff to apply for grant funding for a speculative industrial building, a spec building. And early feedback is very positive. We hope that we'll be able to come to announce something very soon. There are some details being worked out, and that can move forward this year. It is, at least my opinion, that if we can make it through the COVID, either through everybody catching it or getting a vaccine, that we're going to see an economic boom, and we really need to be prepared for that, hopefully this year. The other item just sort of came to me this afternoon. I had an opportunity to talk with Andy Miller with Aris Manufacturing in Clio in Councilman Wood's district. Well, maybe Mr. Blackman's district, but anyway, it's in Clio, so we always think Councilman Woods. They're doing well, as evidenced by the white plastic modular units that seem to be taking over Maple Street, and now they moved around the corner on number 9 there at the scrap yard. They report that they're, in his words, wide open, expecting to hire up to 100 more people in the next 6 months or so. If you remember, they build for they sell to folks that develop apartment complexes, and all those things are planned years out. So they have a lot of demand for their product, and it's a steady thing. Still very happy with the workforce here, and everything's good. So that's good news. It's good to hear, particularly in this environment right now. With regards to the administrator's report, and we did partner with MUSC, our EMS did, to help with COVID testing at the EMS building. Unfortunately, this ended at the end of the calendar year. We were using National Guard resources to help with this and other things, and those resources have been pulled elsewhere. So now if someone wants to be tested, they can go to the DHEC, to the health department out past the bypass. They can, and then Palmetto Family Medicine Clinic in Sherrall also does the rapid testing. There are other places that do it, but those are where the easiest places here. You know, it is a little disappointing. We look at the numbers, the case numbers, and they've been very high, but if you look around us in counties like Dillon, where they are doing a lot of testing, they're much higher. You know, some folks would argue that that's a false assessment of what's really going on, but I think it does help when folks can realize that it is all around you, and you do need to still take precautions, even though, you know, it's becoming very, we're all tired of it, very tired of it. On a similar note, with regards to the COVID vaccine for public safety, for first responders, fire, rescue, fire, EMS, police, we met last week after we realized that no one had really told us what to do about getting those folks vaccinated. Steve Akers, our emergency management director, had been on it and in all kinds of meetings, and we just sort of got hit by a lightning bolt and realized nobody told us what to do. And it's unfortunate that this has been not handled in the best way by DHEC out of Columbia. The regional DHEC folks are on top of it. They've been very easy to work with, but Columbia has not done a good job with this. And they distributed the vaccines for the Phase 1A people, for these folks, to the hospital systems in the state. Well, guess what? We don't have a hospital. Neither does Lee County, neither does Darlington County, neither does. And so we fell through the cracks. So that allotment of vaccines, you know, was being distributed, you know, or handled for things in those counties where hospitals were and that sort of thing. And nothing was happening here. So we had to, as we do sometimes, fuss about it. Good thing is we organized a meeting with the sheriff was there, the city police chief, the mayor, the chairman of the council, city fire, county fire, EMS, you know, we had all the people around the table to say, hey, we're going to push, and we need to push together. You know, oftentimes the county seems to be the one pushing and sometimes catches the devil for it, but often it's for the right reasons. And fortunately, everybody came together and we did just that. And so we were able to contact the hospitals, and McLeod Hospital stepped up and began doing this in Sherrall. But yesterday, they ran out. So, you know, we're here on the state level that people who haven't already gotten them need to go to the back of the line. Nobody ever told us where the line was. And so we have still a large number of people that haven't been vaccinated. We have mixed response of folks that want to get the vaccine, which is very discouraging because we want folks to get it. But the good news is we have worked with DHEC on a regional level, and they're going to be here Friday for those first responder people to get their shots. And it's the one you have to have 2 shots on. So we're working in that direction. You know, it just seems like we're always having to scrap. We're kind of up in the corner of the state and have to fend for ourselves sometimes. In this case, it was good that everybody came together. We had a new council member orientation session, I believe, since we met last, I think. I'm not talking about something that happened before. Councilman Stroman was there, and Dr. Johnson was there, and I think we had a good meeting. And we laid out a lot of things that you all that have been here know from being here, you know, how the finances are and how things are operated. I think it was very positive. Staff at least came away from it with a very positive feeling from it, looking forward to working with new council members and moving forward. And I think the new council members bring some new energy because they're new, and I think that'll be good, and it'll motivate staff certainly to take on some things that we kind of let go. We have begun the initial phases of working on a county newsletter. I see Lynn McQueen is here. She's going to lead that project. It's something that we talked about in strategic planning, And the intent is to do one, right now, what we're planning on is doing one quarterly and getting it mailed to folks, you know, trying to make sure it gets in people's hands. A lot of people are on social media, but you know, you can't really even find what you're looking for on there anymore. And if we can put it in people's mailbox, I think that'll work well and reach some of the older folks and all that maybe aren't on Facebook, like the rest of us need to take their advice and do the same thing. So we look forward to that, and we'll, of course, keep you up to speed on that. That's a positive thing, and that's what we want to be about this year. That's all I've got. I can answer any questions.
Any questions for Administrator?
I got one, Mr. Muller. Oh, what is the status on the, internet services? I've been getting some calls, wanna know, is it up? If it is, where to go? You know, we don't wanna be like, where the line is, you know? Like you just said, we don't know where the line is. But, so many people wanna know, is it through local benefit, or it could be from Spectrum, is it through AT&T?
No, it's all Sand Hill.
Everything's
It's all Sand Hill. They were working Sunday. I don't know if y'all were coming up 9. Sunday morning, I went duck hunting and they were out working. And I mean, my son takes me, you know, anyway. But it's all through Sand Hill, and my understanding is it'll be a little bit before it's finished. I will try to get us a better update than that, and maybe even have Sand Hill CEO come to the council meeting. Might be a good idea. 'Cause I know y'all are getting calls.
Yeah.
I don't have much more to offer than that right now.
That's a good start.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any more questions? All right, thank you. Up next, we have recognition of citizens before council. First, we have Elizabeth Cox, Wendy Woods from PD Coalition, and whoever's coming, just remind everybody we have 3 minutes. And,
I'm Elizabeth Cox, and this is Miss Wendy Woods. We're from PD Coalition, and we both just started within the last 2 months. So we just wanted to kind of come out so you guys could get a face to our name and know that we're still here, we're still working, we're still a resource for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, and we're right out here on Parsons Street. So we just wanted to connect with you guys so you know that we're here working for you.
all right.
Just being compliant or just being a resource as far as working formerly with Northeastern Technical College and now with the PD Coalition. I see, and working these few months, I see how the community, and I'm proud of Marlboro County, how the community, our resources work together. So just being new, I just love the fact that between our sheriff's office, our courthouse, our DSS, great to know that we live in a beautiful community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the work that y'all do. All right. Up next, I think we got Mr. Ulysses Sullivan. All right. I think Mr. Sullivan handed us a packet already up. So, yes, sir. So just remind everybody we have a 3 minutes with Mr. Sullivan.
Yes, thank you, County Council. Thank you for the opportunity for us to come before you. The packet you have in your hand is the copy, some information. It'll be brief. First is the flyer, father and son. Convocation Ironman competition. That's going to be held on our church grounds, which is located on Highway 38 in Blenheim, and that's going to be held on Saturday, February the 27th. And we want to help promote our young people, and this is very important, how to handle resolutions and conflict, and how to take care of character, and how to be a person that wants to have high self-esteem. We train and teach on that, and that's what we do. That's our main focus of bringing those young people together. Next, you will have a copy. You will see a picture of computers, and those computers are going to be set up for our youth. We have a training program that helps them on the enrichment of their grade level skills, and what that does, it will help them get better grades and AB honor roll and qualify for scholarships. And we want to train them on that and work with the parents also on that program. And at the bottom, you see those vans on that picture. Those vans are part of our food share program. we're going to be able to get food out to the community, food, fruits and vegetables to local citizens in our whole county. We're going to try to cover several areas. I'm a part of the board of the Marlboro School Community Center. We have now received the pub for a refrigerator to be able to take care of the county and getting those boxes of food out. So we want to make sure we service as many people as we can. The rest of the flyers will be brief about the importance of diet and nutrition. I'm going to close with this. And I know we're talking about COVID-19, but also the very most important root is taking care of your body. Diet and nutrition is the key to building the immune system. When the immune system is broken down, it makes you more susceptible to any disease, airborne disease, any other diseases that are contagious. So we're training on proper diet and nutrition, and that's what we're really focusing on, especially in this season. There's also been another strand of COVID-19, which I know you are aware of, that's coming, and it's coming in different areas. So that's why we want to make sure we understand the importance of the immune system being built. So we're training on that. And I thank Mr. Munlin also for later on having an opportunity where I could be more in detail in explaining what we provide for our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Up next, we'll have recognition of council members. Mr. Woods, Councilman Woods, let's start with you.
I got a couple of things I need assistance with. We all work together and we work well together. And Mr. Blackman, this ain't at you, but in Brentwood area, which is my family area, is the District 7. Anyway, I talked to them, what they called me rather, think I was still a day council member, but I told them that I don't think Mr. Blackman would mind if I express this concern that they have in District 7. In the Brentwood Circle, there's ditches that water just sits there. And we know this week alone, we had a lot of water. And they want to know anything the county can do. I got two areas, Mr. Dove, and we'll elaborate a little later on, but two areas, one in Hemp Hill Circle, which is in Clio, by Bender Park. Water is in the road so much that you can't drive, those got a small car. Truck, no problem, but cars, they're drying out, they get stalled out because of the water so high, they know where to run off to. In the Branchwood area, water stays in the ditches for a long period of time, and then they get stagnant. Then mosquitoes start flying, and it's just something that need a runoff in that area. And I told the Branchwood family that with Dr. Johnson family live in the area also, and 80% of it is my family. Anyway, they were getting on my case hard. I said, I know Mr. Blackman and I, we're good friends, and we all work together. If we got a layover, it will be no issue. So I'm not trampling in on his territory, but I just want to bring it to the county attention. The other thing is, Mr. Munley answered that already about the satellite and cable issue. Besides that, I am fine. I think we all know 2020 was tough. The first 10 days of 21 wasn't that good either. We hope, I know the sheriff is quite aware of, we all aware of what happened on last Wednesday. And with the rumors of Trumpers and so-called people causing chaos, and we want to make sure that we stay woke. Make sure that everybody in our area is aware of what's going on, and we don't, in a small town, we can't afford a situation like that to occur and catch us napping or not paying attention to the issue at hand. It is a critical time. It's a critical time for this country. So, I just hope that Sheriff Department, y'all boys up and loaded, not loaded, take that back, but aware of the situation that is around the corner.
Ms. Plato.
You got to pray.
Not doing any better than getting teenage years, you would. And, so all I can do is just, keep going and trusting in God, hoping for everything will work out all right. And, keep those things with me. Make sure that the news and songs are good. I think I talked to you before about news. So, the water, shut down in, now. So, but anyway, on, Barnhill Street, when they had all that rain, my son called me. He said, Mama said, we need a boat over here. I said, what you mean we need a boat? He said, yeah, that's the only way I can get to my car. And I said, Lord, I mean, so I thought he was just joking in there. So I rolled down there. And I tell you, believe it or not, water was there. I mean, we was up at the rim of the house, past the front. The water, somewhere down in that area, it's clogging up or stopping up and he's draining off or something. But it's really bad down there at the Barnhill Street. And so those are the two issues that I have with people calling in something about the water and other issues we have. And, but other than that, that's about all I have for the complaints that I have. Nobody else can complain about anything that I know of. But anyway, again, we got a pretty rough time in 2020. There's 2020 something that I don't think nobody in here would ever forget. Because there's a lot of stuff that happened. We've seen a lot of family members, friends, cousins, you name it, they're gone. And it's so sad. I saw a news lady on the news the other day talking, and I was seeing her, and she just bust out and started crying. She said, people having to have to bury their family out in the, out in the open, or can't come in the church to do nothing. It's just a sad time. And, but all I can say is that we just have to keep praying and trusting in God and hope that things will get done. And I believe that they will get done in time. And so that's all we can do. Hold on to Jesus and keep calling. I know that's what I'm going to do. I can't tell you about what you're going to do in your house, but I know me and my house, what we're going to do.
All right.
And that's going to call on him.
All right.
And I don't know no other way, because that's the way I was brought up. I was raised that way, and I ain't going to get from it. But no, I'm too old to change now. 74-year-old woman, I don't think too much change I'm going to do. But I'm just going to hold on to him and hope and pray that he's going to carry us on through. And I think that's not all I got to say about that, but I thank God that everybody, we are still here, y'all.
Right.
By the grace of God, we are still here. And I thank the Lord for all of you, and I'm going to keep praying for everybody here. So he's going to keep us keeping on. That's all I can say. Not only us, our family, friends, and him. All right? I think that's all I got to say. I'm not going to preach no more.
Come on now.
No, I'm done.
Amen.
All right. All right. Mr. Strobel.
Yeah, 2020 was rough, but I see light at the end of the tunnel. I like to say this county, we don't have a lot of the issues that the other larger counties have, and I like to think it's because we just have better people. We have people that get along, and the foolishness, is taken care of very swiftly, by our sheriff and law enforcement. So, keep doing the great work. And along those lines, we have a Martin Luther King Day parade. Martin Luther King Day is coming up, and their parade will be on the 18th. And, just to show people that we can all get along, I would like to invite council to participate in that. It's only going to be a drive-through downtown, but if you can just participate and let people see us working together as one unit, one body, all together, it would be a great thing for people to see. That's it.
Mr. Commissioner?
Well, I have nothing to add. I think that my fellow councilmen have covered it.
All right.
I'd just like to say that, a lot of people still going through a lot of stuff now. I mean, with the COVID, everywhere. Everybody knows somebody's had it, I'm sure. And, a lot of people still got a lot going on, and I think if you
now be a good time if, you know, your neighbor needs something, or, you know, leave something on the porch for them, or just the little things now make a big difference. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind for the probably next 6 months. It's gonna be tough. So, if we'll just kind of watch out for your neighbor and your family and your friends, and hopefully this year will be a lot better, and we can get back to business. That's all.
Yeah, the only thing I got, I'd like to thank the Sheriff's Department, the first responders, our firemen, rescue. They don't have the luxury that a lot of us do to stay home at night and stuff. When they have calls, they have to go to people's houses, so they're put in more of a position to be around somebody that possibly not have the COVID-19. So we need to really think about them and pray for them, because when we're home sleeping in beds most of the night, a lot of those guys, either firemen or rescue, they're out working to help people and get them to the hospital, or to have a fire, trying to protect their house and stuff. Respect the COVID-19. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, every one of us in here knows people that's had it. Some of us know some people that's lost someone. You know, but you got to do your social distancing. You need to wear your mask, and just change the way you operate in the public. That's the only thing you can do. You know, limit the amount of contacts you have. I know that's kind of hard to do, but there's a lot of people that have done it, and I think everybody's fared well that have tried to do that. You know, just appreciate everything that the staff and Mr. Mullins done to get us ready to start 2021, and then hopefully we'll just have a great year in Marlboro County.
Sheriff, would you like to say anything? Thank you, Sheriff. Just a few things, and then we'll close. Mr. Stroman and Dr. Johnson, like I said, looking forward to them coming on. They have some great ideas, and, you know, new blood, and, you know, sometimes it'll rejuvenate us to look outside of the box. I mean, just from the short time we met with them, they're willing to look outside the box like we have before, and so we're looking forward to that. As chairman, I would like to, I mean, if the virus would allow us to start back the committees that we used to have as part of the council, which was the public safety, public service, recreation, and you know, to get back that thing going. I know Councilman Woods has been pushing recreation. You know, kids are, I've got a 5-year-old, and I mean, she's literally about to pull my hair out. You know, she's wanting to do something. I mean, and you have to try to keep them as safe as possible. So, like I said, we don't know what 2021 is going to hold, but I mean, if we all should work together like we have for so many years on council, I mean, there's nothing that we can't, and nothing we can't overcome. And so we're glad of that. So with that, I was not going to preach, but as I think somebody asked Christ one time, said, "What's the greatest commandment?" He said, "Love God with everything you can, and love your neighbor as yourself." If everybody would live by those two, that motto, those two great, he said, everything else hangs on those two. Love God and love your neighbors yourself. If we can do that, we can see a lot of things turn around. I just believe we can see a lot of things turn around. So, as Mr. Stroman said, one thing about us is our families have grown up together. We went to school together. Our friends have went to school together. We've, you know, we've all been like a family from our county for years. So, like I said, we continue to stay that. If we continue to lead like we have, you know, people wants to see a good leadership, and I think we as council body has been a good leadership as a role model for people to look at in our county. So we're going to continue to do that in 2021. Anything else? If not, we'll call this meeting adjourned.